Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Les Harrison. I'm on the National Brand Partnerships team at OUTFRONT. We are one of the largest at-home media companies in the U.S. You have seen us previous slides today from Casey and the NFL, and if you've been downtown and opened your eyes, you see a lot of the at-home out there for this great event today. It's been a really fantastic day. There's been a lot of really good content, and I'm excited to sit here next to Naveen and kind of hear the New Balance story. But first, Naveen, if you wouldn't mind just kind of giving everyone a little background on yourself and what you do for New Balance.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Thanks to Brand Innovators and everybody coming today. We have a deal partnership with them on multiple fronts, so great to be back again. As Les said, my name is Naveen Lokesh. I'm the head of global sports marketing for basketball and football at New Balance. I've been there roughly 2.5 years. Before that, I spent a decade at the NBA league offices, 5 years in New York, 5 years in London, and then I got a phenomenal opportunity. New Balance in 2020 went through a transformative period, and it was during COVID that people picked up running amongst other sports, and the brand took off in that fashion, but also took off in the lifestyle fashion. So shoes worn every day by everyday people was tremendous, and ever since then we've seen double-digit growth, which is amazing. And I got kind of coerced positively to come join New Balance to take this journey, which was re-entering basketball, and then future down the road, re-entering American football. And when I was speaking with the family that owns the company, the resonating thought was, be sure you want to do this. This work that you will do now won't be realized until long after you're gone. And that made me feel extremely humbled that the work we do sometimes isn't recognized until much, much later. But that drove me to come and join New Balance for the fact that what I do and what we build together here and today will only be recognized later. And that's the mentality I had, which gave me really great reassurance that it's run the right place. So the three functions of the job are, one is a long-term strategic outlook of the categories, so basketball and American football. Two is the assessment and acquisition of partnerships, so the NBA partnership, the Boston Celtics, and others that we utilize in the sport. And number three, which is the most fun, but takes up the most amount of my time and probably most stress, is athlete acquisition and management. So signing all of our athletes, NBA athletes, NFL, baseball, and MLB. So a whole host of that, but really fun stuff.
That kind of leads us into the next part here. Some exciting news yesterday. You want to tell us about that, Naveen?
Yeah. If people are aware or not, we signed a new football player. There he is, Marvin Harrison Jr. Yeah, and he is a stellar wide receiver for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Sorry for all the blue buddies. He is entering the draft. Will be drafted tomorrow. He hails from pedigree football. His father, many of you may know, played for the Indianapolis Colts, Hall of Fame receiver. The only football player that is ranked in the top 100 greatest football players, the Ring of Honor, which is the Colts Hall of Fame number, and then I want to say the 75 greatest ever players. So great pedigree, but more than that, and what attracted us to him was the values. We share these family values that are core. His father is very involved in Junior's career and profession. There's a fun anecdote that I love, and we knew this was a match made in heaven when he told us when he played for the Colts, he would fly home every weekend after the game, spend 3 days at home to be a father to his two younger kids. And that resonated, knowing he's a Hall of Fame quarterback, wide receiver. And so we were really excited to bring him on board. He is the face of New Balance football, as well as a cleat that you'll see there that launched today that you can go see now at the Clutch Athletics by New Balance pop-up.
In no relation to me, if anyone's wondering, but I digress.
Wondering where that was going.
Yeah. Give me a mic and we'll crack some jokes. So why American football now, right? You guys have, you established yourself in basketball, like obviously, football or soccer as we know it is a big part of your business. Why is it, now that you're looking to get into American, or that New Balance is looking to get into American football?
Yeah, one thing I learned today was about Jeep and how old the brand is. New Balance equally, it's been around for more than 100 years, 1906. It was founded in Boston. And we've been around a long time, but in order for us to remain innovative and growing, we have to break the barriers somehow. We've made running shoes forever, so our shoe, then we broke into other sports, lacrosse, global football, soccer, and for us to be a top 3 global athletic brand, which is our desire, we needed to play in the top 3 global sports: global football, soccer, basketball, and I know people don't believe it, and it's not actually true, but American football in the US is the most dominant sport, maybe not globally, but in the US. So we had to start playing in the space, and we thought this was the most opportunistic time as we made phenomenal baseball cleats and soccer cleats to enter American football.
Awesome. So as you look to get into the space, what are y'all doing like to get into that space, and like how do you look to tell that story? Like what kind of content are you bringing in? You know, we heard a lot about authenticity. We heard a lot about, you know, making sure that, you know, everything lines up with the company's values and those, you know, the athletes' values and everything lines up. Sounds like you got it here with Marvin Harrison Jr., but like, you know, give us a little peek inside of how you're going to tell his story and weave it in with the story of New Balance.
Yeah, I mean, it starts with the product. We have to make the cleat, the football cleat, the best product we can. And what we found, the opportunity in American football, after we spoke with numerous athletes, did a lot of research, was there was this false notion that speed and comfort had to be separate. You could be fast, but maybe you won't be comfortable in your shoes. Or you can be comfortable and not fast. And everybody in the NFL and in plays football wants to be fast first. And we said, what is our breakthrough element in our product? Would be that we would create a product that could both be fast and comfortable. And you don't need to compromise. And we found that hit home to a lot of people that we did market research with. That idea of meshing both is something that the market wasn't servicing right now. So that's where a lot of our focus is right now, making the best product. It's been a 2-year journey to create the product that you'll see downtown, and we'll go and sell later this summer. And all that process and how you want to talk about how we're telling the story, we've documented that for 2 years now through documentary style content shot in our factories in the US and overseas, speaking with our product managers, and also filming our athletes, which is a big component of this. We sat with Will Anderson Jr., who's one of our athletes, Chase Young, and now Marvin Harrison Jr., and documented how they talk about cleats so that the story's authentic. And we know that our athlete is the best vehicle that's most relatable to the consumer. Not a brand, not a shoe at the end of the day. It's speaking from authentic points of view that people feel that are really, really considered, and the athlete's the best way to do that.
Nice. And then you've got all this content, assuming you've been, you know, building stuff with Marvin and the other athletes. Like, how do you scale that? How do you get it out there? How do people see it? You know, what's your vehicle for that?
So we'll start with a ton of owned, so on New Balance channels, because that story, we thought about farming it out to a media partner. We thought about trying to even get it to Netflix, so it's a document style, like a lot of sports are doing now. But we didn't want to lose our authentic connection to saying we are some of the best storytellers we can be, because that's what we pride ourselves into. And our delivery of this content is really important. Not having to go to a platform to pay for it or behind a wall, paywall of some sorts. And then the broadcast partners and the media partners will get their fair share. We're going to be spending with them to get on broadcast during NFL season. Our We Are Now spot is already running during NBA playoffs for the NBA athletes. You'll see the football spots coming out later this year with our football athletes during broadcast windows during the NFL. But mass awareness at the highest level of the funnel is where we're going to start. And then we'll know we'll drive the rest of the funnel later through conversation in the long term.
Nice. I see billboards with Marvin Harrison and some cleats on here pretty soon.
They're out in the city now.
There you go, exactly. So, you know, the title of this panel is about, you know, partnerships and the idea of fewer, bigger, better, right? You know, during our prep call, you had mentioned like you're very careful about which athletes you work with and all, and you don't need, you know, a lot of them if you've got the right one. Can you kind of give everyone a peek behind, you know, kind of that idea of bigger, better, and fewer, and then, you know, kind of that mantra that y'all, you know, look at these types of partnerships?
Yeah, it's an ethos that our CMO, Chris Davis, really spawned a couple of years ago when we got back into sports. And it was the idea of fewer, bigger, better, signing fewer partnerships, marketing them in a bigger way, by telling better stories than everyone else. And in order to do that, the promises made to athletes and partnerships is we're not going to go around signing everybody we can and partnerships we can. We're going to overinvest in the ones that we truly believe in. The one strategic advantage, I think, beyond our market and our competitors is we're a private family-owned company to this day, of the Davis family. So no quarterly earnings calls due for us, which is, I'm sure, people's wishes sometimes. So we can take strategic long-term plans. Our plans in the books are decade-long set. And we'll edit every 2 to 3 years based on market trends. But that's how far we set our goals out, and we stick to them. That makes us have really smart decisions not made out of market, excitement or what's hot right now and what's not. It's really strategic and long-term, and we really stand behind that ethos of fewer, bigger, better in everything we do. And one case in point study is how Marvin landed us with us. He was a highly touted candidate. Many brands went after him, all with great propositions and opportunities for Marvin. They ended up coming to us through shared values and the thought process that you're going to be our fewer, bigger, better athlete. When you come to any city you want with any athlete, Marvin's going to be ahead, front and center. You don't have to compete for time or for dollars, and that really resonated with them. So we've seen that formula go to work for the past 5 years and be really successful.
Nice. New Balance is having a real moment in terms of like the trend setting, right? Like the we were talking backstage, like you were saying one of the shoes is like one of the top selling shoes, and that's more of a lifestyle push, and these cultural moments like the NFL draft, while we're all here today, are big for y'all. Want to tell us a little bit about how y'all were looking to activate, not just for the NFL draft, but how you look at these moments and how you look to activate and what that process looks like?
Yeah, we're not fully committed to on-the-ground activation. I think a lot of brands think they need to be present physically in front of the audience and the consumer. We've taken a dip of the toe in the water approach where we're testing things out. Last year was our first ever pop-up event at Kansas City NFL Draft. We saw some successes, we saw some failures, and we took away learnings, and we reapplied them to this year. So at our pop-up downtown, we have moved the location to be strategically close to the NFL Draft. We've opened up the space. We've made it interactive and customizable as far as product you can purchase, and also exclusive where you get one-of-one items there that you can't get anywhere else with New Balance. So those are some of the learnings we're doing. We're going to roll that same methodology out at major milestone events in sports and in lifestyle culture. The next one is probably on a lot of people's radar is the Olympics. So we're going to be present there, and then look to World Cup in LA 28. So really strategic because we want every interaction with our consumer to make them feel like they saw the most pinnacle expression of our brand, because it's so important to us that we don't look overused or inundated or cheap in any way. We sell a high-end product, and we want to keep it that way. So it's more, again, going back to the ethos of fewer, bigger, better. I'd rather take one event a year in football than ever do five pinnacle events.
Awesome. The pop-up here, you want to give everyone a little plug on that?
I think I plugged it.
Plugged it enough, yeah.
Again.
Everyone's going to be there.
State Street, open to the public tomorrow. Today we have some private events, but go by. It's really close to draft, open to the public again. Limited merchandise, but go see, touch, and feel the pinnacle expression. That is what you'll hopefully come away with. I don't care if you buy anything. Just go see it, take a look. There's some fun interaction, fun music, and drinks and stuff like that. But it's a really great expression. Encourage everybody to go take a look.
We've got a panel coming up next about NIL, and I know you and I talked about it. It's an interesting space, kind of the Wild West. But you look at your fewer, bigger, better, and then you look at your athlete, and trying to be authentic. How are y'all looking at that space?
Yeah, Wild West is an understatement of probably NIL. I've dabbled in it now for the past year and a half. We signed our very first NIL athlete, Cameron Brink, who got draft number 2, right behind Caden Clark at the draft last week. And that was our first foray into it, and we had a lot of learnings. I learned about California state law versus South Carolina state law and what legislatures do. And my takeaway, which I think is not a new opinion, is until there's some sort of uniform federal regulation that blanket covers everything NIL, we're still going to see volatility. And until that gets rolled out, It'll still be state by state because the legislature's rule it. It'll be athlete by athlete, athletes moving to transfer portals, and it'll still be hit or miss unless you're willing to invest in a long-term partnership. And that's what we did with Cameron. We signed her while she was at Stanford. We've continued our partnership with her in the pros, and we found creative contract ways to do that. Happy to give tips of how to carry over those partnerships because one and done is not a methodology that New Balance practices. And that took some risk. There were some phenomenal athletes in this year's draft class. I don't know if anybody missed it. Caitlin Clark got drafted, and it was massive. But we took a really considered approach not to go after her, to stay committed to Cameron and not entertain that process because we knew we made that commitment about a year ago with Cameron. And I would just advise, stay patient. We stayed patient. We didn't jump in first in. We wanted to be the best, not the biggest at these things. And so you'll continue to see us dabble in NIL. I think a lot of brands will, but be measured in your approach, be calculated. Don't do it for a quick hit unless that's what your brand is about, which is totally fine. And wait for some regulation. I'd say for that way.
Thanks. We've got this foray into American football, right? You've got 3 athletes now. What are you kind of looking forward to? What's I know we're in it now, but I think everyone in this room is like, okay, what's happening in August and the next year and the next season? Give us a sneak peek as to what you're thinking about and how your teams are going about this this entry into the American football space.
Yeah, we're extremely excited about the roster that we have, especially with Marvin coming on yesterday. You'll see us stay consistent with those athletes, not looking to sign a ton in that capacity. What you'll see in the American football space is an intelligent choice. A choice that athletes can feel that they have another option that may have been lacking before. The football space has been volatile with new brands coming every decade or so into the space. What we're hoping to give is the intelligent choice to the athlete. That's what we're going to stand behind, is that you can do speed and comfort all in one package. That's what you'll get from New Balance. You won't see a lot of puff and puff, cool colorways. We're just stick to the product. And if you want to be fast and comfortable, pick up a New Balance.
I agree. Mine are very comfortable, and I got here very quickly.
It's good. It's good.
So, we kind of ran out of what we were our list of questions now. So I don't know if we want to open it up to questions, or I always have one that I like when I'm speaking to smart brand marketers, and there's a lot out there. Who do you like? What brands inspire you? What brands are you looking at that give you this? Oh, they're doing cool stuff, and I want to do cool stuff, but we got to do it our way. What do you, as you're out there, what do you see, and how do you kind of take that and bring it in house to put the New Balance spin on it?
That's tough. I've looked and fished around in other industries just to be comparative. No offense to our friends in Jeep in the audience. I see us as kind of if I had to pick a car brand, a big car person, a Volvo. It's quiet, it's luxurious, it's not flashy in any sense. It communicates a very still message. Are they exciting and come in fun colors and go really fast? Probably not. But you feel safe in it, you know what it means when you say it. But similar to Jeep, you know what you're saying to the world when you get one. Another one that I really like to on is in the luxury fashion space, which is booming now to some degree. You look at Louis Vuitton, you look at Celine, Prada, Gucci. I would have to, and this is not meant about my PR team, but compares to a Loro Piano. Really high-end, maybe not known by the masses, and that's okay. They're not private-owned. They used to be private-owned for a long time, but really thoughtful, really craftful. They're not out to make a ton of money. And same with us. We want to be successful, move product, but we want people to feel good with our product. So it's a price point that's exuberant in anybody's pocket, and it's not plastered all over the walls. We're cool, we're confident, we're comfortable where we are. If we don't grow a single percent in 15 years, nobody's calling me up. That's the benefit of being private in that way. It's a luxury that we have. Hope we can keep it that way. But I would compare us to that. In alcohol, which is another fun one, Heineken. Kind of thought of very confident in what they market and how they market. Not looking, they're definitely looking to sell beer to everybody in the masses, but quiet, confident, just really considered in the product they make, their heritage, because they're a very historical brand, and you know what you're getting every single time.
Nice. During our prep call, you had mentioned, that there are a lot of brands that are like going into these teams and like trying to, get the, have their, entire kits literally like with the logos on it and stuff like that. But y'all have a different approach. I think that goes back to the bigger, better, fewer. Can you give us an idea of like, we understand like that you're not looking to go like giant, but like why not sponsor a team in the NFL, like, and why not be that kind of voice with the league?
Yeah, I think if you look at our basketball partnerships, we have the NBA, which is league-wide. We have the Boston Celtics, we have the Red Sox and the Bruins. We don't have the Pats. But those would make sense because those are authentic. We have them in our backyard in Boston, so we want to do those. In the NFL landscape, we're still very new, and we want to put our investment and time behind the athlete. Again, we think that is the best personification of communicating the consumer message to the consumer. Brand partnerships, like the NFL and teams, will come to play their role within our larger scope, but they're going to be additive to our athletes, not detract. And so if we ended up leading our entry to American football with an NFL partnership, which we did consider, it would take away from our messaging from our athletes, and budgets are capped at some point. So it's not an unlimited pool that we have. And we said, let's be considerate about that. One day we may explore that, and that's definitely on the table, same with team partnerships. But they have to be authentic and be additive to our athletes and our messaging. We know what we're about. We don't want to spread ourselves too thin or jump into anything too early. We're going to wait for the right time.
It sounds like there's a lot of analysis and thought that goes into all of this before you're diving right in. So it's great, smart. We've got a couple minutes left. Does anyone have any questions? Go ahead.
Did Marvin have any say in the creative look of the shoe?
So Marvin came a little bit later in the process of the creation to make a shoe, which I just found out we're going to do about 18 months from start to finish. So it's a long life cycle. He'll probably have an impact on the next generation of cleats. He was a fan of what we created so far. There's limited change in that because, again, we want to nail the product. We nail the product, we can go and have fun and colors and collabs and other design elements. But Marvin, similar to us, had the same vein of like clean and simple, elevated and elegant. And those things really resonate with him. If you ever get to meet him or see him play, he's all about the game. There's not a lot of flash to him himself. He likes purple randomly, that's his favorite color. But otherwise, he's playing football and doing the job. And so that was really interesting for us to meet with him because we gave him leeway into next year and apparel as well for freedom of creation. But we said, let's nail the product. I mean, if they'll still size it for shoes and create a custom cleat. So we're focused on that now, definitely down the line.
Yeah, so your work obviously is focused on the basketball and football side. How do you take into consideration how those efforts impact the lifestyle side of New Balance? For example, the Jack Harlow Kawhi Leonard spot you guys did a couple years ago was one of my favorites. How do you identify opportunities and moments like that where you can kind of connect the gaps there?
So taking a step back, the sports categories, the performance products, another fun fact I learned is 95% of football, American football cleats are sold to people 18 and under. Because what 37-year-old person is buying football cleats? Maybe less.
Not it.
So our point of view is that's the consumer we want to go after. We had to go make the American football cleat for them to buy something, fall in love with us, and then go buy the lifestyle pair. So all sport categories are, I would say, energy categories for us to create phenomenal energy and then sell a basic $65 simple shoe that every mom, dad, and son can wear. So that's the connectivity. Is we won't see tremendous sales and growth on performance, basketball performance, or the football cleat because you can only wear it on field. Well, at least basketball you can wear across it. That's where Jack came into play. But those moments always are going to be at the intersection of sport and culture is where we try to live and not be a witness but a participant. And that's a real important focus of us. That's how that Jack spot came. Jack is a massive basketball fan, loves to play, got him linked up with Kawhi, and you'll see that crossover in some of our models. But really the performance stuff, which humbles me at times because I think, let's sell these cleats, let's sell these basketball shoes. It's really to be a catalyst for our lifestyle business because that every person wears, you have to get up and wear shoes every day. no matter what, and we just want to be on those feet. And so our performance business represents a small percentage of our revenue, while the lifestyle represents a huge amount because the opportunity is so great there. So that's how those intersect. Is we can't be selling those lifestyle shoes. We could never make that jack spot without Kawhi, and we had to go get Kawhi to do that.
Y'all are doing a fantastic job of bridging those together and keeping shoes on people's feet that are comfortable and make them go fast. But appreciate your time. This was really fun. Heading down to the pop-up tomorrow for sure. You'll see me there. And everyone else, I appreciate you listening, and I think we're out of time.
Thank you.